Delta calls CrowdStrike's apology vastly inadequate and says last month's outage will cost it about $550 million, including a $300 million revenue hit in the current quarter. CrowdStrike says Delta continues to push a misleading narrative. Joining us with his outlook for the airline and the industry is Trent, Citi Research airline analyst. Stephen, great to have you with us. Why was Delta hit the hardest, it seems, of the airlines? And why bother going after it when it seems like nobody else is right now?
Yeah, thank you, and appreciate you having me on. So I do believe that Delta, relative to the others, had a lot more exposure to those systems, and its competitors were using different software and had different suppliers. So Delta, unfortunately, happened to have a great deal of exposure to that, apparently thousands of systems internally.
Why do you think they're going after the money? I mean, it's almost becoming a PR issue at this point for them to say it's because of you, and CrowdStrike said, no, we extended our offers to help so many times and you turned it down.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think that from a product perspective, Delta is the customer. The product failed in a catastrophic way. I wasn't in the data room to understand whether CrowdStrike called them to try and help, or if Delta reached out, who knows what happened there. But over $500 million loss, and somebody has to be, I would say, on the hook for that. Delta did manage to reboot things after a while. It had to reboot apparently thousands of different systems manually. And when they were rebooted, they're not up and running automatically. It takes lead time for them to spool up. I won't second guess exactly why they're going after CrowdStrike, but the financial impact has been significant. We see a 60 cents per share impact in 3Q.
You look through this, though. I mean, this is sort of a black swan event, right? Or does its exposure in terms of more exposure to these particular kinds of systems, sort of expose a new risk to the story?
Yeah, I think that risk has been there, and this isn't the first time we've had an outage or a technological failure like this. Delta did have a problem back in August of 2018 that resulted in 2,300 canceled flights and a $150 million charge. I think going forward, the chief technology officers at these airlines possibly need to think about who their suppliers are, and whether they can layer in some level of redundancy in these technological suppliers. Because you look at flight operations, redundancy is the name of the game for safety reasons and for reasons of efficiency. So perhaps they need to do the same thing here.
In terms of demand, Stephen, we've already heard from the airlines, and we're also hearing some incremental data points now from the hotel industry, from the short-term rental industry, and they're not good. They're not painting a great picture for consumer demand into the second half. And I'm wondering how you model out consumer demand for air travel and at what price point, if there's going to be pressures on pricing, what data points you sort of look at out there in the economy that'll guide you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in the case of an airline, what's really fascinating, and maybe that's one of the reasons the sector is so volatile, is the consumer can move much more quickly than the airline. So when we look, for example, at these booking curves and how flights are trending and what level of flights are in the system, what kind of traffic flow we're seeing today, certainly one of the places we're seeing some stress is on domestic mainline. So that's not to say that people are suddenly not traveling. There's still growth and there's still demand. But on domestic mainline and, let's say, basic economy product, this is a place where the demand has started to undershoot the amount of supply that's gone in. And that's kind of a very tough game to play. You can look at a booking curve and anticipate demand continuing to be strong, but maybe it starts to pivot a little bit. And you already have flights set up. You've already paid your flight crews. You already have your ground staff paid up. You just can't suddenly not pay those people. So we think in 3Q, looking at airfares, the booking curve is suggesting starting later this month, we're seeing some inflection.
Right. That's always been the knock on airlines, that they have great demand, they build at the capacity, and then they have too much capacity. And that's sort of the situation we're in now. We're hearing them trim back capacity. So does that actually set up for a better financial setup in terms of their quarters in the third quarter and the fourth quarter as they are getting more disciplined surrounding capacity? I understand that it's a hard ship to turn, but it's turning right now.
Absolutely. It's like turning a battleship. So, I would say in terms of the group, what we are seeing is a shift towards the network airlines. If one looks at the wallet share gains we've seen from the network airlines pre-pandemic to now, you really do have a great deal of that wallet share shifted to the network airlines. I mean, very substantially, Delta and United. And people are talking, of course, about 3Q guides and some tough prints in the second quarter. But if we look at the four network airlines, they've had roughly $4 billion of adjusted earnings just in the second quarter. Delta is trading at a double-digit free cash flow yield. So I hardly think that those are weak stories. I think if we look at the discount airlines, it is a little bit of a different situation. And when we go forward into the third and fourth quarter, we are seeing some discipline in terms of the group starting to cut capacity. What I think is going to be interesting is how the discount airlines respond in terms of trying to add premium. Is it going to be the case that they're going to get some incremental passenger flow from
Southwest, for instance? Correct.
Exactly. Are they going to get incremental passenger flow that some people in their network want to fly premium? Yeah, sure. Is anybody who's traveling economy plus on one of the network carriers going to go down to a Southwest or a Frontier? I think that's a different question.